I want to start off with the arena. Now, what's interesting is I am using an HK47 lead with T3, BB8, IG88, and Imperial Probe Droid. Now, I think this is a pretty good team. It's a pretty good setup. But it does reveal something to me pretty quickly is HK47 needs a rework. He had his moment in the sun. He's a solid character, but with the amount of love that Kotor is getting right now, we need to see him get a rework. He's a solid character. He's a good character, but he's not the devastating bad A that he was in Kotor. And I don't know. I think that we're underutilizing this character because he could be a lot better than he is. This kit though is really interesting because T3 is an offensive droid who supports a droid team with extra stats, debuffs, the enemy, and so on and so forth. His first ability is called Disable. This is his basic ability, and it reads, deals special damage to target enemy with a 75% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. If the enemy has target lock, the ability block can't be resisted. Now, the reason I put HK47, the reason I put IG88 and Imperial Probe Droid in this is because it is... those two characters do target lock, and they do it pretty effectively. Now, as you see, I'm going up against a Sith team and got slaughtered. Now, as you can also see, this is on at 1 speed. Oh, and the days of not having 4 speed, that was brutal, guys. That was really, really tough. Now, moving on, I want to go, we're going to see them play out in the first phase of the heroic tank. Again, I'm using an HK47 lead. I'm going to be putting in T3, obviously, because this video is about him. I have Imperial Probe Droid. I have R2, IG88. Obviously, it's exactly the same team as it was before. Now, his first special ability, T3's first special ability, is called Repair Kit, and it dispels all debuffs from target ally. If that ally was a droid, this is an entire droid team, they also recover 50% health, 50% protection, and gain critical hit immunity, and offense up for 2 turns. That's a pretty solid ability, and it's definitely got some utility to it. It does make him a fairly decent support character, but it is only for the droids. Now, here's what I'm thinking, I think that this is going to be an ability that will become useful when the droids become useful. Right now, it's a hodgepodge of characters that in and of themselves they're okay, but they're not great. I want to see the droid Gotra. I want to see the droid mafia, essentially, in the Star Wars universe being added to this game. Now, we do have some additions of those characters added to the game. Essentially, we have L3, and she's a member of the droid Gotra. She just is. She has to be. I don't know that for sure, but based on canon, makes sense. Right now, this ability is just okay. It's not a great ability, but it's a solid ability that I think as new droid characters get added, it's going to be, I think, very, very effective. Now, moving on, his second special ability is called Carbonite Projector. I think this is pretty cool. Deals special damage to all enemies and dispels defensive buffs from any enemies who have them. So this is an AoE that just removes all defensive buffs. Then remove 20% turn meter and inflict critical chance down and offense down for 2 turns. Again, target locked enemies can't resist these debuffs. So you have some pretty serious characters who have, you have IG88, you have Imperial Probe Droid, you have even T3 who can inflict target lock on these characters, but they don't work super well together. There is no synergy outside of this droid concept. Now, it could simply be because HK47 isn't the best droid leader. And I hesitated in using another droid leader in some of these early phases. And what I've decided to do is I I decided to throw on when I started the Rancor. I put in Jedi Ray. Now Jedi Ray is a very solid droid leader, and it's simply because of her affinity with R2 and with Jedi Ray is a solid droid leader, but it's mostly because of her affinity with R2 and with BB-8. Without those two characters, I don't know, she's not the greatest. So here we have Jedi Ray, BB-8, T3, R2, and again, we have the IG-88. And again, IG-88's a great droid. I love his kit, but he's a solitary character. I don't think I've hit the sweet spot when it comes to building a solid droid team. It's fun. I really love this character. I love T3 in the game, but the utility just isn't there. Not because it's not there in this character, but it's just not there within the team. The droid team specifically needs a rework, and I think it's coming, guys. I really do. Arnold has been petitioning for a General Grievous rework. I played around with Grievous a little bit here, and he just wasn't compatible. But if and when they introduce new droids, specifically Separatists, to the game, I think that T3 is going to be a very, very solid character because of these two Zetas he has. I mean, not to mention that his other abilities that we've seen so far, they're solid. They really are. But these two Zetas, coupled with a few other abilities out there, are really going to bring some solid damage to the droid team, or they're gonna be able to create a droid team that does a serious amount of damage. Now, his first unique, he does have two uniques, is called Combat Logic Upgrade. This is a Zetable ability. Droid allies gain 8% potency and critical hit chance stacking each time T3 uses an ability. Also, droid allies have 8% critical damage for each debuff on the enemy team. Now, if you think about that, if somehow you put like Darth Vader and Wampa and a series of other characters who can stack damage over time, for example, this is going to be an ability that is going to be very beneficial to your droid team, keeping your droid team survivable, right? The more, debuffs that you can stack on a team, the better your survivability is going to be, and the more chances that you're going to get. Now think about that. Droid allies get 8% potency and critical chance stacking. And this isn't any ability. This isn't just like a specific ability. It's not just a basic ability. It's not just a special ability. This is any ability. 8% stacking. And if you get a droid character who is using abilities over and over again, this is going to be very powerful. So again, I'm thinking that maybe characters like the Jawas who pull in droid allies, often there's going to be some kind of synergy there. And I don't think that the best team that we see now is specifically a HK-47 lead. He's one of, if not the best droid leader. Now I say that because he is a droid and a leader. Rey obviously is one of the best leaders for droids, but that's because of BB-8 and R2. I don't necessarily believe that Rey is solid without those two droids. She's just not at least for a droid team. I do think a droid rework is coming, and T3-M4 is going to be crucial in any droid team because of that stacking ability. It's just going to be very powerful because that's going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. Now, his second unique ability is called Master Gearhead. Now, again, this is a Zetable ability. T3 gains 100% defensive penetration, then droid allies gain 100% of T3's defensive penetration. I mean, the jokes alone, there's a lot of penetrating jokes that I feel like I shouldn't even go with. I'm fighting it, guys. I really am. But here's the thing. It continues. Additionally, each time T3 starts his turn, he has 75% chance to inflict target lock for 2 turns on a random enemy who does not already have it. This target lock cannot be evaded. So here you have a character who gives his fellow droids defensive penetration. He helps other droids penetrate the defenses of his opponents. And what's interesting, what's fascinating about this is I believe there's potential for this character. I really, really do. I don't necessarily think that a solid droid team, a straight 5 lineup droid team, is the best way to go. I think we're going to see a lot of people looking at this and saying, hey, there are other team makeups. Now, as you're seeing here, we're going up against the Rancor, and the team does really well. This specific team does amazing. Again, because you have resistance characters with R2, you have resistance characters in BB-8, and they benefit from Rey's leadership ability. Then those benefits allow them to continually benefit IG-88 and T3. I'm not necessarily sold on this character. I'm excited to see what he does if and when a Separatist rework comes out, because with Separatists, we're going to get a droid rework. We have to. I mean, you have Grievous, you have the IG-100 Magna Guard, IG-88 Sentinel, the rest. I mean, those are 3 pretty big characters. And, you know, IG Magna Guard and Sentinel both have a part to play in this game and have played their role pretty effectively. But with the power creep, they've kind of become, you know, just like the droid team, kind of become obsolete. And that's really disappointing because those were solid characters. Now, Grievous never was a solid character, and his kit really needs a rework. I mean, you guys know, I know, and EA and CG know. I mean, it's on the docket. I can almost 100% guarantee that we'll get one soon. TM. I mean, I don't know that, but people have been talking about this, complaining about this for years at this point. It's coming. I mean, it's on its way. Now, when, we don't know. I don't know. I'm going to let this video play out, guys. I am excited for T3. I think he's a solid character with the right team. I'm not necessarily convinced that we have the right team right now. And I don't believe that a 5 droid team is the right way to go. I think there's a composition out there that is going to really take advantage of his abilities and quite possibly make 1 or more characters just godlike. Now, it could be a character we don't have yet. It could be a character that we're getting, obviously. And it could be a character like IG-88 or Magna Guard or even Sentinel Droid. I'm not convinced yet. I don't necessarily think that Imperial Probe Droid is great. Now, here's the last thing that I'll leave you guys with. Keep in mind that everything that you've seen here, except for the arena battle, was on auto. I do think that these characters and these kits that are coming out are not meant to be played on auto. So keep that in mind when you're considering this character, because it doesn't necessarily, it shouldn't rule him out if he underperforms here, because there's a use for everyone in the game for the most part. And I don't think that they would spend time and energy and money creating a character that was useless. He has a specific part to play in this game. What that part is, I don't necessarily know. But what do you guys think? What do you think about T3? Did he have the abilities that you thought he would? What abilities is he missing that you thought he should have from the game? If you're a diehard KOTOR fan, let me know. Leave a comment in the section below. Really love communicating with you guys. I really love chatting with you guys about this stuff and about these new characters. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. And as always, my friends, stay nerdy.